Chronicle of the Rohingya Genocides in Arakan. When one looks across the long and turbulent history of Arakan, it becomes clear that the Rohingya have suffered not through a single catastrophe, but through a series of deliberate, recurring expulsions and massacres. This chain of events may be described as the Mariband cycle of genocide, each episode carried out under different rulers or forces, yet sharing the same essential design: the removal of the Rohingya people from their homeland. The first expulsion, circa 1622-1623, Mariband. Historical sources record that in the early 17th century, during the later period of the Merauke dynasty, the Arakanese king launched campaigns against Muslim settlements. The episode connected with the Mariband region, still found on early maps of Arakan, is remembered as the first major attempt to uproot the Rohingya. This marked the beginning of a cycle in which religion and ethnicity were manipulated as tools for exclusion and violence. The second expulsion, 1784, Bodopaya's conquest. In 1784, the Burmese Konbung king Bodopaya invaded and annexed the Arakanese kingdom. While the conquest destroyed the sovereignty of Arakan, it also brought devastation to its Muslim population. Chronicles describe how villages were burned, inhabitants were enslaved or marched into central Burma, and many Rohingya perished or fled. This second great dispersal etched another scar into the collective memory of the people. The third expulsion, 1942, Japanese occupation and communal violence. During the Second World War, Arakan became a battleground between Allied and Japanese forces. In 1942, amidst the Japanese invasion, communal violence between Rakhine Buddhists and Rohingya Muslims erupted with unprecedented ferocity. Tens of thousands of Rohingya were killed, their settlements razed, and entire communities pushed northward towards the Naf River. For the Rohingya, this was the third great expulsion, seared into living memory and still passed down in oral testimony. 1978, Naga Min operation, led by dictator U Ne Win, more than 200,000 Rohingya were expelled. 1991-92 PYI Thaya operation, 250,000 people were expelled. The fourth expulsion, 2017, Myanmar military clearance operations. In 2017, the Myanmar military launched so-called clearance operations in northern Rakhine. Villages were systematically destroyed, mass killings and sexual violence were documented, and over 700,000 Rohingya fled across the border to Bangladesh. This was the largest single exodus in modern times, an atrocity recognized internationally as bearing the marks of genocide. It became the fourth chapter in the cycle of extermination. The fifth expulsion, 2024, Arakan Army insurgency. In 2024, the tragedy repeated itself yet again, but this time under the hands of a different power, the Arakan Army. Once hailed as a nationalist liberation force, the AA turned its weapons upon the Rohingya. Massacres were reported in villages along the Naf and Kaladan rivers. Civilians were executed, driven into hiding, or forced into desperate flight. This latest expulsion, occurring after centuries of recurring violence, is now seen as the fifth genocide of the Rohingya, a pattern of targeted destruction. Across 4 centuries, each wave of genocide followed a similar structure: the invocation of religion or ethnicity to justify violence, the collaboration of external powers, be they Burmese kings, Japanese invaders, or the modern Tatmadaw, and the ultimate aim of eliminating the Rohingya presence from Arakan. The people were pushed from one refuge to another, fleeing when attacked, only to be summoned back when their labor or loyalty was needed, and expelled again once more. The present responsibility. As the chronicles show, the Rohingya have reached a point of near annihilation. What remains of the community must now reckon with its history. Survival has always depended not only on endurance, but also on resistance. The cycle of expulsion cannot be endured passively forever. The lesson of Mariband, Bodopaya, 1942, 2017, and 2024 is that each generation faces the same challenge: to defend the people's right to exist in their ancestral homeland. By Rohingya Language and Cultural Research Center.